If you're just joining us, welcome to the 17th Annual SyracuseCoE Symposium. I'm Ed Bogish, I'm Executive Director of SyracuseCoE. We're New York State's Center of Excellence in Environmental and Energy Systems, and we're thrilled to have you with us. I'll just make a few comments. I want to thank our sponsors of the symposium, NYSERDA. A special shout out to Nexus New York, which is a program of NYSERDA that's run by High Tech Rochester. We have two representatives of Nexus New York here. They're with us throughout the day. It's a program that looks for seeds of research ideas that teams wish to explore the opportunity of commercializing their ideas from the lab to the marketplace. It's a program that has had 4 cohorts of teams over the last 4 years, including a team that is led by Youngman Ahn, a faculty member right now in the 4th cohort, an idea that's come out of Professor Ahn's lab to generate electricity in a furnace in a home. And actually that idea with Professor Ahn's students is being mentored by Nexus to evaluate the potential for commercialization. Nexus is searching for candidates for its 5th cohort, and if you think in your lab you have an idea of a technology or a process that has commercial potential and you'd like to talk to Nexus about being part of their 5th cohort, they'd like to talk to you. So at the break and also at our poster session, Nexus will be here and encourage you to speak with them. I want to thank our student sponsors, CDH Energy and King & King Architects. You see on in the logo here, CDH is a charter member of SyracuseCoE. We've known them as CDH all these years. There's actually a heads up that they're rebranding and they'll become Frontier Energy in January 1st. Also want to thank NYSTAR, which funds all the centers of excellence across the state. Judy Thal from NYSTAR is here checking up on us, making sure we're doing a good job, and we appreciate Judy's oversight and NYSTAR's support and encouragement. So now I'm going to introduce the person who will introduce our speaker. I'm very pleased to, before I do that, so I want to thank COE staff for their efforts in organizing this event. Actually, I want to start with a particular staff person, Stacy Bunce. So Stacy, you met Stacy at the registration desk, and Stacy handles all the logistics. On Friday, it'll be Stacy's last day with SyracuseCoE. She's moving to a new position in the Whitman School. Stacy was our first staff person at SyracuseCoE who joined us when we moved into the building. And she's been terrific in assisting us with all things relating to logistics and events at the building. So Stacy, I'm going to ask you to stand so that I can ask people to join us. Wishing you well at Whitman, and we look forward to future opportunities to interact. And then other staff members who are here: Ana Fernandez, Tammy Rosanio, Chet Chinese, Paul McCarthy. Paul McCarthy is out at the desk being Stacy right now, and other. Carrie Marshall. Oh my gosh, where's Carrie? She's not in the room. There's Carrie Marshall is here. So all the staff members, I appreciate everyone's service. Now I'm about to introduce the introducer. Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce John Liu. The new Vice President for Research at Syracuse University. He started as a faculty member and Vice President for Research on September 1st. So So this is day 35 of a new member in our community. John came to Syracuse from Auburn, Alabama, where he was at Auburn University, where he served in a variety of positions, first as a faculty member in the School of Fisheries, Aquaculture, and Aquatic Sciences. Later in Auburn's College of Agriculture, he served as coordinator of the International and China program, and then he was Associate Dean for Research. Beginning in 2013, he served Auburn University as Associate Provost and Associate Vice President for Research. John has a distinguished career of scholarship and leadership at Auburn University. I want to call out one particular thing. He led a multidisciplinary team that wrote and won a competitive award from the National Institute of Standards and Technology to establish the Hubbard Center for Advanced Science, Innovation, and Commerce, which is located in a $30 million, 88,000 square foot facility that's certified LEED Gold. The facility includes 21 laboratories that support research clusters in water and environmental quality, aquaculture development and sustainability, food safety, information science, and biofuel, bioenergy technologies. This sounds a lot better. Alabama COE. In his new role as Vice President for Research at Syracuse University, John reports to Provost Michelle Wheatley, and his responsibilities include the Offices of Sponsored Programs, Technology Transfer, Research Integrity and Protection. In addition, he's responsible for the Syracuse COE, the Center for Sustainable Community Solutions, and the Case Center. John's scholarship is closely aligned with the Syracuse COE's mission. He earned an undergraduate degree in plant protection from Northwestern Agricultural University in China. He earned an MS in plant pathology and a PhD in cell and developmental biology from the University of Minnesota. Worked at Syracuse University in the faculty of the biology department. He's authored or co-authored hundreds of journal articles and chapters and is a fellow of the World Aquaculture Society and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. My pleasure to introduce John.
Well, thanks, Ed, for nice introduction. I'll have to claim that I'm new, and as a matter of fact, that I'm truly new. I'm learning in the very sharp learning curves. Let me commend you all on this conference. 17th. Usually, I think all the conferences, symposiums, if you have passed the 4th conference, generally that's borderline to say you are doing towards success. 17th in a row, that's quite something. Thanks, Ed, for your leadership and all the staff you mentioned for all the organizational efforts. I think you guys are all working in the very, very most important area. As you all know, that I came from a land grant sections in Minnesota, Alabama, Auburn University. That we all know that we are facing lots of challenges. Food being one of those things. The world population is approaching 8 billion, and by 2050, it's projected to be about 9.7 billion. But the projections most often are wrong and underestimated. I tell you, just as short as of a few years back, says by 2050, the world middle class will reach about 3 billion, and today that number is about 4 billion. So, of course, about 2-3 billion in China itself, that people are reaching middle class status. Why that's important? Because once you become middle class, you are no longer satisfied with rice alone. You want to consume milk and meat that put additional pressure on food production. Energy demand. Back in 2007, it was again predicted by many scientists to see By 2040, China will be the largest country with cars. 2040. 4 years later, in 2011, more cars were sold in China than in the United States. Today, GE sells more cars in China than the United States alone. Okay, so give you a sense of global perspective of the pressure of food and energy demand. And this demand translates into much larger pressure on the environment. The environmental sustainability is at the greatest threat probably ever. Think about this, the environment and the climate change. I do not know your political perspective. I am non-partisan and non-political. But from the scientific perspective, you agree or not, you deny it or you admit it, the climate is quietly changing. That's not that's a fact. It's changing. Extreme weather is getting more and more extreme. The civilization we humans built through millions of years can be destroyed in seconds. Hurricanes, high temperature, drought, a lot of extreme weather challenges. Human health challenge because of such challenges from the environment and life. Our national security challenges. I always say this, our country is probably stronger than any other. No other country would challenge us directly with military force at this moment. But that does not mean that we are very secure without any other challenges. Cyber is a very, very tough area. Terrorism and many other threats. So all these challenges requires research. So I'm glad we are meeting here. We're dealing with a few of the very important areas. Energy, the environment, natural resources, sustainability, clean water, clean air, and life. Very, very important areas. Once again, this is my first work at Syracuse University. I'm very impressed with excellent research programs here in these areas of energy, environment, and natural resource sustainability that we are passionately care by this group. And I'm here to tell you through Invest Syracuse, we're going to invest further internally and much more so hopefully leveraging through external efforts to grow research excellence in this area. Once again, that I actually learned how public a university, Syracuse University is. I'm surprised to know that many of you probably, oh no, we're a private university. That is true. We're private in the sense that we do not receive lots of state dollars in supporting our mission. But we are public I'm so impressed how similar actually SU is to other land grant missions because we care about the very issues that the public cares, the societal challenges. So to that extent, I commend you once again on working on these areas. We also play to our students. Syracuse is very good with very fundamental and basic research. Our science, technology, social sciences, policy research, we are extremely strong in those areas. We certainly should hold our place in such strength areas. But here I'm also to tell you that we ought to work harder, put more efforts towards translational and mission-oriented research. We will align our research and new hairs toward translational research, mission-oriented research to address the real challenges of the world. And also certainly will target our funding sources, align our efforts with extramural funding sources. With this brief remarks in mind, I'm very pleased to introduce our next keynote speaker, Jeff Peterson from NYSERDA, who devoted most of his career to translational activities, trying to bring a piece of idea, invention to the society, to the real world. So I really admire that level of efforts. Jeff has been a key staff member at NYSERDA for more than 26 years. Currently is serving as the Senior Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Over the years, Jeff's primary focus has been on building the foundation for customer-focused entrepreneurial ecosystem to catalyze and facilitate the transition of ideas and inventions around clean energy and market into scalable business enterprises. Recently, Jeff's focus has been on the design of initiatives to partner with universities to bring to market innovative clean energy technologies and business models. We look forward to hearing his presentation today. Please join me in welcoming Jeff Peterson.
So thank you for having me here today. So this started out a couple weeks back when I called Ed to arrange a meeting to look at a partnership conversation with Syracuse. He said, well, I have a deal for you. We'll have you a meeting, but first you had to come to his conference and explain to the audience what we're trying to do and what that context is. Then our earlier speaker actually set the scene up for when he talked about distributed energy and some of the challenges around there. So this should work out very well. So thank you. So I'm going to talk first about kind of the energy context in New York State, what's important, what we're trying to do to try to move to scale. I mean, as John mentioned, we do a lot of research in New York State. Our goal is to have it be applied and used in the marketplace. And then I'll kind of give you a rundown of kind of a snapshot of what we've been doing in talking to different universities around New York State. So let's put the energy policy in context in New York. And this again came up from our earlier presentation. In New York State, we have an aging infrastructure, in that case. We have challenges in resiliency, and Hurricane Sandy, Superstorm Sandy was mentioned that. We have ice storms in upstate New York too, which our new VPR will certainly learn to appreciate in the coming months when the snow starts coming into Syracuse. But with these challenges comes opportunities to grow the innovation economy, opportunities to bring new inventions, new ideas, and new concepts to market to help address some of these challenges. So the targets in New York State, and this kind of sets the policy context for New York. We're looking at reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 40%. We believe that climate change is a problem in New York State. We're not waffling on that need, and we're trying to address that challenge. We're looking to have 50% of our electricity come from renewable resources by 2030. We're looking to decrease the energy usage in buildings, again, by 23%. All of these activities, all of these targets fit squarely into the goal of what the Center of Excellence is trying to do in Syracuse. REV, or Reforming Energy Vision, is kind of the underpinning policy guidelines behind trying to meet these objectives. And we're trying to do this by giving customers more energy options, get the market to work in solving the problems. So government is not here to solve your problems. We're here to catalyze you, facilitate you in your research, help you bring solutions to the market. We want to increase diversity. We want to enhance system reliability and resiliency. And ultimately, and this is something we're measured against in the office, is reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So then how do we do that? How do we move from a broad policy? It's always nice to have numbers. And if you've been in state government for a while, like I have, every time you have a new administration, that can be cynical now, you tend to have new numbers. You tend to have new targets. But we're moving in that direction, and it's good to have a target for what are we going to do. So we have the Clean Energy Standard in New York. This is an outgrowth of the RPS, the Renewable Portfolio Standard. We're trying to get 50% clean energy by 2030. And I won't kind of go into the details, but this builds off of what we have in the RPS. Generally, what we do at NYSERDA is issue a competitive solicitation to buy renewable energy credits. So we help stimulate the construction of large-scale, wholesale renewable energy systems across New York State. We do that through the Clean Energy Standard. Just this past June, we issued a $1.5 billion competitive solicitation to build clean energy, renewable energy technologies across New York State. We also see that offshore wind is going to be a big player in this scenario. We're putting a lot of work into looking at the consequences of offshore wind, offshore of Long Island in this case, doing a lot of the foundational work and looking at impact on fisheries, on the environment, trying to understand what it would mean to bring offshore wind into the system. We also have the Clean Energy Fund, and this is an important tool in New York, especially from NYSERDA where I reside. That's a pot of money, $5 billion over 10 years, and that itself is what's exciting for somebody who works, as an organization that funds energy research. When somebody says you have a 10-year runway of money, as opposed to going through an annual cycle or every couple of years trying to get new money. So we're using this funding at NYSERDA, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, to support meeting the goals of the Reform the Energy Vision. And ultimately what we're trying to do is decrease the cost of adopting new clean energy technologies, and how do we develop those technologies and ultimately bring them to market. So the approach we have in the research side of NYSERDA, and that's where I sit, is really trying to target and focus our funding on solutions that will ultimately bring these technologies to market. Right? My goal is to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. I can't do that through research unless that research leads to a product or a business model or something that is used. So ultimately, in everything we do, we're trying to help you move something from your brain, your invention, into the marketplace. So you look at the investment portfolios we have in the Clean Energy Fund, it gives you a range of where that funding is. The Market Development Program is the largest program. That includes things like the Clean Energy Standard, it includes things like more standard incentive programs for taking technologies that you've already put on the shelf and trying to get them into broader use across New York State. With the Innovation and Research Program, it's a program where I sit. We have roughly $71 million a year that we try to put into place to help develop new technologies and bring those to market. We have a New York Green Bank in New York State. The Green Bank is a program to help the project finance end of the equation. When you're working with new technologies and you're trying to implement new business models that have already been commercially proven, but you want to bring them to scale, sometimes the conventional financing operations don't work very well. So our goal there is to help share that risk of financing, project financing around these systems, and trying to get them into the marketplace. The New York Sun is a solar program. It's almost $1 billion initiative to try to deploy, broader than we have in the past, solar energy across New York State. So where do universities play in this role? We've partnered with universities for many years. What we're trying to do now is understand how we can build on that partnership, leverage all the work you do, and try to bring your technologies to market. Universities invent new technologies. The innovative research happens here, especially in New York State campuses. You educate the next generation of energy leaders in New York State. Right? We need to have people who can manage research labs, who can work at utilities, work at those businesses that are trying to bring technologies into customers' hands. And I think an important thing, and John alluded to this too, as the role that Syracuse University plays, you are kind of the shining light in the community. Your responsibility goes beyond what you do in your lab. It also goes into being the example that your neighbors, that the people that are around you in Syracuse can see as what you can do to address our energy and environmental needs. So what we're trying to do in the long term for these increasing relationships with universities is try to increase the involvement of the university community in developing new clean energy technologies. So I have a very narrow focus. I look at clean tech. I look at trying to help you support the development of technologies that will result in clean, energy-efficient technologies or business models being used in the marketplace. So how can I encourage these bright people in this room to work in that space as opposed to something else? So I kind of think about, what can we do to help you stimulate and get excited about that kind of thing? How can we help you build partnerships with industry? I mean, my goal in the long term is to help you, Syracuse University, the faculty and students here, work with the energy industry So you start to form those kind of sustainable relationships. So you're meeting the needs of the industry and helping them solve their problems. We want you to be active in leadership in campus and community sustainability initiatives. We want to bring, I guess, the next generation of scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, as I mentioned, and ultimately share best practices. One thing as I travel around the state and realize each campus is different, and you benefit by working together and collaborating. I think it's come up before, the collaboration between Syracuse and RPI, now New York City and Troy and Syracuse, you all work together. So we look at NYSERDA as kind of this technology to market continuum. Ultimately, we're trying to help you invent technologies. How do I help you do that? Trying to help you bring those technologies ultimately to scale. I can't keep feeding the wide mouth of the funnel, I won't have those products coming out the other end, which help me solve my energy and environmental problems at the back end. I have in this as a simple graphic where you can see the types of things we do. We have a proof of concept center program. As Ed mentioned, Nexus is one of our proof of concept centers in New York. It's a great example of how can we take inventions out of the research community, both universities and the private community, and bring them to market. How can they get validated in a marketplace and stand up new businesses in that case? So we're trying to understand how we can do that better. So we look at universities and these partnerships, building and expanding on entrepreneurship activities on your campuses, supporting additional collaborative translational research at the campuses, exploring how a campus such as SUNY could be a first customer, could be a pioneer. Where can I take a technology that's been developed here and ultimately test it out? Can you be that first customer for that startup? Are you buying that product and showing it to the world in that case? Can you educate the community, and can you help educate each other and staff that community? So we've been getting out of the office. If you go through the Nexus program, they force you to get out of the office and talk to people. So we figured out we had to do that too. So we've been doing visits around the state. Actually, right now we're up to 11, not 10. And but we've gone to places. We'll be coming to Syracuse. I think it's November now, to have a meeting with John and Ed and a group of other people. And we're there to listen, which is always an interesting part of the conversation. We tell them we're not looking to have a faculty presentations on the wonderful things you do, because we know that already. We want to hear from you as a university of how we can help you succeed in order to solve the energy and environmental problems we have in New York State. So we have 5 or so more to go. Then we're going to actually sit down. We're going to visit all the major research campuses in the state and decide where else should we talk. Are we missing any perspective we need to go to? So there's been a number of people involved. And certainly we talk to people outside the university space too. So our observations to date. So we're not done, even though I think some of these will be the same as we go forward. But students have a tremendous interest in sustainability issues. When you ask those questions at the campuses about the interest in sustainability and the environment, universally, the faculty and administrators that are in the room say yes. Students are driving them to do a better job in sustainability and address those problems. Some campuses see this as a recruitment tool. They want to show that they're committed to this kind of activity. We're also seeing that the newer faculty are committed to having an impact. They want to do something in their research will ultimately lead to a better environment than it is today. The general students are really interested in entrepreneurship. How do I make a business? How do I do the next big thing? So it's not just research, it's also entrepreneurship in that case. The students are all looking for experiential type learning. I want to do something that's real. I want to help a business solve a problem. I just don't want to do research because I want to do research. I want to solve a problem in that case. And that becomes a challenge. Many campuses challenge all the time, how can I form meaningful relationships with the private sector so I can help them do something that's meaningful, that actually returns value to the business and the student at the same time. And I also found out, it's probably not news to people, but each university has their own kind of personality. So the message for me in that case is that I can't come up with programming that is supposed to be accepted by everyone. I have to accept the fact that there's a lot of different pegs out there, and you can't just jam a round peg in a square hole. I have to figure out how I can give you the tools to succeed. They may be different tools than I'm giving somebody else down the road. There's also the interest in this grand challenge concept, which I just find kind of an interesting concept, a way to create major goals or challenges, looking out into long term as a way to inspire students to work around those. So we're looking at a variety of things to do, so I just listed out some of the interventions that we've talked about, and certainly continuing the proof of concept center program is probably the highest priority in my list right now. But we're looking for campuses to be living laboratories. We're looking for campuses to catalyze research partnerships. How do we do that? How do we provide funding? Where do we provide funding? What's the magnitude, scale, duration of that funding? So we're here to listen. And so I thought I'd just give you a few minutes talking about what we're trying to do. We're in the middle of this process. And I especially want to hear from people on how we can help you succeed in solving our energy and environmental problems in New York. Thank you.
Questions for Jeff?
Well, I was going to say something. The other day I was,
Mike,
I'm sorry.
give me a microphone.
I don't need a microphone, do I?
No, we'd like you to have a microphone.
All right.
We're going to figure out where you're from.
Where's the microphone? Okay. Anyway, I'm a resident of Syracuse. I've lived here a good part of my life, and that's a great accomplishment. I wanted to say that the other day I got on the bus and I rode around, and I spoke to some of the students there. Okay, I think that being an older adult, that there's a good amount of technical, I say a lot of things right now. But when I was on the bus, I was interacting with some of the students, and students need a way to survive. They've got student loans. They've got. I spoke to a couple of them on the bus. They need a means of making money, and of course, our economy is about as making as much money as you can. A lot of students are interested in that, like other people, right? So, what am I proposing here? I think that we need that a lot of work that I've done in the past. It's not a lot, but it's not high paid kind of thing. One of the girls I sat down next to told me, I said, "What do you want to do when you get older?" And she was probably a sophomore, all right? And she said, "Well, I'm going to join the Army." I said, well, that's great. I mean, that's you're going to be trained to be very disciplined and all that stuff. So what are you studying in school? History. That's fantastic. We need more. We need an educational system where students have a better understanding of history in general. That's extremely important because that's what gets passed on, to future generations. And then I asked her another question that was, so what are you going to do after college? She's going to law school. Okay, she wants to be a lawyer. And I thought, well, that's good. You're going to make a lot of money as a lawyer, right? So I guess my point is that I guess I don't really have a point. You can derive your own point from all that. Is that first of all, so it's important that students also have a financial incentive maybe to pursue these environmental fields. Short of working for an energy company like Syracuse University pumps out, a lot of people work for hydrofracking. It's a very controversial issue as well, right? They need alternatives to develop these so they have financial incentives to work for alternative energy.
Thanks very much for your observation. Are there other questions?
Okay. Quick question.
Go ahead.
I am from Chicago, but when you were mentioning about fellowships and internships, do you encourage any of your students to kind of go out of the state and do any internships and stuff like that? And will you support it? We tend to be very parochial in New York State, so we probably would encourage students to stay in New York and work for New York State businesses. We'll take your Chicago's Oregon people.
Question here.
early adopters of technology, and maybe not so much a question as just a, or maybe you can provide an example, and I just hope for more of universities actually, like you say, taking these technologies and adapting them on campus, being that first customer, de-risking it, on the university campus. I feel like it can help draw a lot of student involvement as well, when they can be a part of the lab and then see their hard work come to fruition on the campus. And I like that concept, and I would love to hear more examples about it.
Yeah, I think you can look at it in a couple different perspectives. One is the campus serving as a demonstration site to test how they do technology, their technology. I was thinking of it a little bit differently as a first customer. When you're trying to bring a technology to market, ultimately you're trying to sell something. And it's a challenge to get that first buy in that case. Everybody wants to be number 10, nobody wants to be number 1. Can the university help a startup with a new product go through that process of being a vendor, understanding what that means, understanding what a warranty is, do that kind of support? And we appreciate the fact that you may need to kind of de-risk that relationship, because the campus would have, SU would have a problem with taking all that risk in case the technology doesn't work very well. But I think there are plenty of examples where the universities, even in Syracuse, are the demonstration site.
So I can't resist the opportunity to point out the ecosystem here. This is Michael Amadori. He's a graduate of SUNY ESF. He had the entrepreneurial idea to start a company based on taking food waste and making dog biscuits, and COE helped him. He went through the Nexus program, and he's still selling dog biscuits. So yay, Michael.
So if you're not familiar with it, I'd encourage you, when you're doing your interviews, your statewide interviews with the universities, to engage the business colleges and perhaps inquire about running something like Steve Lang's Lean Startup methodology. NSF's using it, DOE is using it to migrate technologies out of the national laboratories into industry. And it's fairly effective and kind of low intensity in terms of capital investment to get technologies to market. So it's something that I think should be in the conversation.
Yeah, we're very much advocates of the Lean Launchpad methodology. The programs and proof of concept centers use that. That's why I say get out of the office, because that's what we have to do.
Other questions? Okay. Oh, one more. Last one.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I work in a combustion area, and I noticed that when you talked about electricity going to 50%, you talked about electricity, not energy. When you bring in energy, then you now realize heating is a very big issue. And if you look at the whole picture of energy, it is not predictable that we might be able to go up to 30% renewable very soon. So my question to you is, what is New York State doing to encourage combustion technologies to come to the state? Because that way, if you're training people here, you want to keep them in the state, my students will probably be going to Michigan or going to Wisconsin to find a job. So is that something that the state is thinking about, or it is just not convenient to talk about combustion? It's just in civilized society today. But I think that's a mistaken view, because the statistics really bear out that we will still be dependent on these technologies half a century from today.
So I think you're correct in that combustion creates challenges if you're trying to meet carbon goals in that case. At NYSERDA, we've been working for many years on wood heat combustion and how can we increase the efficiency of wood heating devices, both at the residential and even small commercial scale in that case. We've also supported work for literally decades on home heating system technology to increase the efficiency in that case. I don't see that going away, but our focus has been on the electric side, certainly more so than on